Okay, let's unpack this. We've all had that moment. You're scrolling through your feed, maybe it's late, and you see something that just makes you stop.
Yeah.
It's a video or a photo, and something about it just feels off. And usually, you blink, you look closer, and you tell yourself, oh, it's just a weird camera
Oh,
angle.
the lighting is bad. You rationalize it.
Exactly. You rationalize it and you keep scrolling. But what happens when you look closer and the confusion doesn't go away? What if the glitch isn't a mistake? What if it's a feature?
And that's really the question we're grappling with today. It's honestly, it's a terrifying one. Because we're not just talking about, fake news or disinformation anymore. Those terms they almost feel quaint compared to this.
Yeah, we're talking about a glitch in the Matrix, but not in the cool sci-fi movie sense. We're talking about a glitch in the actual messy real world. Today, we're diving into a fascinating and frankly unsettling report on the authenticity collapse. It follows two observers, Marcus and Sarah, documenting civil unrest in Minneapolis. And what they found wasn't just political disagreement, it was a total system failure of truth.
Total system failure is the right phrase. It sets the stakes immediately. We aren't just discussing a riot in Minneapolis. We're discussing the very lens through which we view these events. The whole premise here is to explore how technology has shifted from simply recording reality to, and this is the key term, hallucinating it.
Okay, hallucinating is a strong word. When I think of hallucinations, I think of fevers or something. Is that a metaphor? Or is the tech actually doing something that resembles that?
It's not a metaphor, no.
Yeah.
In the field of generative AI, that is the technical term. It's when a model confidently generates information that isn't based on the input data, but is instead fabricated based on patterns it's learned.
So it's seeing things that aren't there because it expects them to be there.
Precise.
That is deeply unsettling. So let's get into the specifics. Marcus and Sarah are in Minneapolis. High tension. It's exactly the kind of environment where getting the facts straight is, well, it's life or death. And Sarah mentions this incident with a victim named Alex Pretti. Break this down for us.
Right, this is the pivot point for the entire discussion, the Alex Pretti incident. So Sarah describes checking her feed the morning after a really intense night of protests. She comes across a video of Alex Pretti. Now, these are protest videos, handheld, shaky, bad lighting.
Yeah.
Chaos.
The usual grainy footage we're all used to seeing on social media.
Exactly. But in this video, she sees Alex Pretti holding a gun. She describes it as clear as day. There's no ambiguity. She sees the metallic glint, the shape of the barrel. It's a weapon.
Okay, so she sees a gun. That seems straightforward enough. So why is this an incident?
Because she keeps scrolling. 2 posts later, on the same feed, she sees the same video. Same timestamp, same angle, same chaotic background.
Wait, hold on. 2 scrolls later.
But in this version, Alex Pretti isn't holding a gun. He's holding a smartphone.
You're saying just seconds apart.
Seconds.
My immediate thought is bad Photoshop. Someone took the video, pasted a gun over the phone to frame him. Or vice versa. That's just standard propaganda, right?
That would almost be the comforting answer. In the old world, the Photoshop era, that's exactly what would have happened. You'd have a human editor making a choice to deceive. And if you paused it and zoomed in, you'd probably see the artifacts.
Right, you'd see the pixelation, the lighting would be off.
You could spot the fake, like those old UFO photos where you can see the string holding up the pie tin.
Sure.
But Sarah notes specifically that this isn't what happened here. This was something different. This was AI upscaling.
AI upscaling. Okay, I've seen this on TV. This is the CSI effect, right? Zoom and enhance.
It is the CSI effect, but we have to understand how it actually works because it's not magic. For decades, we all laughed at those shows where the detective points at a blurry blob and says, enhance, and suddenly you can read a license plate.
Yeah, because you can't create data where there's no data. If the image is blurry, that information is just, it's gone.
It used to be gone. But generative AI kind of changes the physics of information.
Yeah.
AI upscaling doesn't find the hidden data. It invents it.
Hang on. Unpack that. How does it invent it? Is it just guessing?
Think of it like predictive text on your phone. When you type, I am going to the, your phone suggests store or park. It doesn't know where you're going. It's just predicting the most likely completion of the sentence.
Okay, I follow that. It's autocomplete.
Generative upscaling is autocomplete for pixels. The AI looks at that blurry blob in Alex Pretti's hand. Doesn't know what it is. So it looks at the context. It sees hand, tension, nighttime, conflict. Then it consults its massive database of images to answer the question, What usually fills this space, this context?
So it's all about probabilities. It's asking statistically what is most likely to be in this man's hand.
Exactly. It's called probabilistic infilling. The AI isn't trying to show you the truth. It's trying to show you a high-resolution image that makes sense. It fills in the blanks. And this is where it gets so dangerous. It literally hallucinates the object that things should be there.
So back to Alex Pretti. You have a blurry gray shape. The AI has to decide. Is that a pistol slide, or is it the casing of a smartphone?
And how does it make that decision? This is where the authenticity collapse happens. It decides based on mathematical bias.
Confirming your bias mathematically. That was a phrase in the report that really stopped me. I mean, isn't math supposed to be objective? How can math have a bias?
Well, the calculation itself is objective, but the data it's crunching is not. Imagine an algorithm that has been trained primarily on images of violent riots.
Yeah.
If you feed it a blurry image of a protester, its statistical baseline just leans toward weapon.
So if the algorithm or the user is biased against the protesters, the probability creates a gun.
It draws a gun. And I want to be clear, it doesn't paste a clip art gun. It generates a gun that matches the lighting, the grain, the shadow of that specific video. It looks perfectly real.
And if the bias supports the protesters,
It interprets those same gray pixels as a piece of technology. It draws a phone.
wow, this is heavy. Because what you're saying is we now have two people who can look at enhanced high-def video of the same event, see two completely opposite things, and both of them are looking at a lie. But neither knows it.
That is the collapse. It's the move from human bias, which we can argue with, to algorithmic bias, which presents itself as objective proof. If I show you a 4K video, your brain is just hardwired to believe it.
It destroys the idea of a common record. If I can't trust my own eyes, we're just shouting narratives at each other. But okay, let me play devil's advocate. Surely this is just trolls, right? This is fringe weirdos in a basement trying to stir things up.
That would be the hope. We've always had forgeries, but usually they stay on the fringe until they're debunked by the adults in the room.
Yeah.
The institutions, the news networks, the government.
Right. You expect some official source to step in and say, okay, here's the raw footage, here's the truth.
But Marcus and Sarah found the opposite. And this is the institutional layer of the problem. It's not just fringe weirdos. The tool to do this, to re-truth reality, are on everyone's phone now. And that includes people in power.
Sarah mentions this explicitly. She talks about federal officials re-truthing AI memes.
Yes. And the example she gives is pretty startling. It involves Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Now, we have to look at this neutrally, just as a mechanism of media.
Of course.
The report describes an AI-generated image that was circulating, showing Ilhan Omar smiling and posing with her attacker.
That's insane. Common sense tells you that just didn't happen.
It is what the report calls verifiable nonsense. Historically false, physically false.
Yeah.
But this image wasn't on some obscure message board. It was being distributed, quote, from the top.
From the top. So we have government channels distributing AI hallucinations.
That is what the observers found. And just think about that implication for a second. It's not just that they're sharing a fake photo. It's that the barrier to creating that photo is now zero. In the past, you'd need a skilled artist, you'd need time. Now, you just need a prompt.
It's weaponized aesthetics. It looks real, so it feels true, even if your logical brain knows it can't be. And if the government is doing it, I mean, what does that do to public trust?
It obliterates it. It
Right.
validates the collapse. If the institutions responsible for maintaining the official record are using tools that hallucinate reality, well, then there is no official record. There is only my truth and your truth, and both are synthetic.
So that brings me to safeguards. You'd think with technology this powerful, there'd be someone manning the brakes. Where are the referees for reality?
And this is where the story shifts from the tech to the economy. We have to talk about the platforms themselves.
Sarah touched on this. She mentioned the moderators.
She did. And it's a grim picture. She notes that the platforms have, for the most part, fired all their moderators. And this tracks with what we've seen in the tech industry. Trust and safety teams, ethics boards. In a purely capitalist calculation, these are cost centers.
So when the budget gets tight, the safety team is the first to go.
Exactly. So just consider the timing. We have the explosion of generative AI, the most potent engine for fabricating reality ever invented. And at the exact same moment, the platforms have dismantled the human infrastructure designed to verify reality.
It's the perfect storm. You give everyone a flamethrower, and then you fire the fire department.
That is a very, very apt analogy.
Marcus and Sarah use a different metaphor in the report, and it's the kind of thing that keeps you up at night. Marcus asks the big question. So if the government is posting deepfakes and the platforms fired all their moderators, who's flying the plane?
It's such a desperate question.
Yeah.
We are so hardwired to assume someone is flying the plane. A pilot in the cockpit, someone ensuring we don't crash.
And Sarah's answer?
She doesn't hesitate. She just says, nobody.
Nobody. We're all just free falling through the cloud.
It's a chilling conclusion. Free falling through the cloud.
And she doesn't just mean the cloud as in, cloud storage, right?
Yeah. It's a double meaning. We're falling through the digital cloud, the network. But a cloud is also a fog. You have zero visibility. You can't see the ground. You can't see the horizon. You lose all orientation.
And when you're free falling and you can't see, you panic. You just reach out for anything that feels solid.
Exactly. And this brings us right back to Minneapolis, to the gun and the phone. In a free fall, if you are terrified of the protests, that video of the gun feels solid. It anchors you. It confirms your fear.
And if you support the movement, the phone looks solid. It confirms your narrative. You grab onto that.
But the tragedy is that both anchors are illusions. They are hallucinations generated by the algorithm to keep you engaged, to keep you clicking.
It's a crisis of agency, really. If we don't know what's real, we can't make real decisions. We aren't citizens anymore. We're just reaction machines reacting to stimuli that might not even exist.
Precisely. Democracy, community, even just basic relationships, they all require a shared reality. We don't have to agree on opinions, but we have to agree on the basic facts. We have to agree that the object is a phone or it is a gun. If we can't do that, we can't have a society.
And the report suggests we are already past that point. The authenticity collapse isn't a prediction, it's a diagnosis of right now.
Yes. When the government and the platforms abdicate their responsibility to truth, the collapse is structural, the plane is empty.
Okay, so this leaves us in a pretty precarious spot, and I don't want to just leave everyone feeling hopeless because that helps no one. We've defined the problem. What's the second step? For the person listening, what do they do? Because don't believe everything you see feels a little inadequate.
It is inadequate. Skepticism's now a survival skill, but it has to be active skepticism, not passive cynicism. You can't just say everything is fake and tune out.
So we need to become forensic analysts of our own feeds.
In a way, yes. We need to look at media not as a window, but as a construct. When you see an image that provokes a strong emotional reaction, fear, anger, you have to pause. You have to ask, who made this? What tools might have been used? Is this raw data or has it been enhanced?
And specifically with this AI upscaling, if you see a video that looks almost too high def in a chaotic situation, that should be a red flag.
A huge red flag. Real life is messy. Real life is blurry. That looks like a movie. It was probably processed like one.
It's like we need to retrain our own brains. Seeing is believing has been the rule for all of human history.
And that rule is now obsolete. Seeing is no longer believing. Seeing is just the start of the inquiry.
It's a lot of work. It's exhausting.
It is. But the alternative is to be manipulated by an algorithm that doesn't care about truth, only engagement. The alternative is to let the hallucination become your reality.
Right. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the authenticity collapse, I want to leave you with a final thought. We've established that we're all in this plane together. We know there's no pilot. We know the instruments are glitching out. We know we are free falling through the fog.
And we know no one is coming to save us.
Right. So the question isn't who is flying the plane anymore. We know the answer to that one. The question you have to ask yourself is, if the tools we use to verify reality are the very things dismantling it, and there are no pilots in the cockpit, how exactly do we go about building our own parachutes before we hit the ground?
That is the question of our time.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Keep your eyes open.
And verify everything.